Have you ever had that feeling that someone was watching you, even when you knew you were completely alone? 3 years ago, I laughed at people who believe stories about haunted forests. Today, I don't laugh anymore because what happened to me changed my life forever. I live in Colorado. Hiking has always been my favorite hobby. Every few weeks, I'd pack my camera, a backpack, enough food for 2 days, and disappear into the mountains. One Friday afternoon, I found an old online forum. Someone had posted about an abandoned trail deep inside a national forest. The comments were strange. Some people said they'd heard voices there. Others claimed they saw lights moving through the trees at night. One comment caught my attention. It simply said, "If you hear someone calling your name, don't answer." I thought it was just another internet horror story. I even laughed. The next morning, I drove 4 hours to reach the trailhead. The parking lot was almost empty. Only one old pickup truck was parked near the entrance. A park ranger stopped me before I entered. He looked at my backpack, then looked at me. "You planning to camp overnight?" "Yeah." He stayed silent for a moment, then said something I'll never forget. "If it gets dark, stay on the trail, no matter what you hear." I smiled. "Wild animals?" He didn't answer. Instead, he simply walked away. That should have been my first warning. The trail was beautiful. Tall pine trees, cold mountain air, the sound of birds echoing through the forest. For the first 2 hours, everything felt normal. Then, I noticed something strange. The forest had gone completely silent. No birds, no insects, nothing. It was so quiet, I could hear my own heartbeat. That's when I found the footprints. They looked fresh, bare human footprints. But there was a problem. They started in the middle of the trail. There were no footprints leading to them, only footprints leading away into the trees. I stared at them for nearly a minute, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Maybe someone had stepped onto the trail from the woods. That's what I told myself. Even though the ground on both sides was untouched, I took out my camera, snapped a photo. When I looked back up, the footprints were still there, but something else wasn't. The old pickup truck I'd seen earlier. Its tire tracks had completely disappeared from the muddy road behind me, as if they had never been there. I suddenly realized something. For the last 15 minutes, I hadn't seen a single other person, not one. And then, from somewhere deep in the trees, I heard someone whisper my name. The whisper wasn't loud. In fact, it sounded almost impossible to hear, like someone was standing only a few feet away, trying not to be noticed. "Daniel!" I froze. Every instinct told me not to move. I slowly turned toward the trees. Nothing. Just endless pine trunks, standing perfectly still. I called out, "Hello?" No answer. Then I remembered the comment I'd read online. "If you hear someone calling your name, don't answer." A chill ran through my body. I looked at my GPS. No signal. My phone, also dead. Not because the battery was empty. It still showed 78%, but there was no service. I decided to keep walking, fast. After another 20 minutes, I found an old wooden sign. Most of the paint had peeled away. Only 3 words were still readable. "Turn back now." I laughed nervously, probably someone's idea of a prank. Then, I noticed something behind the sign. A backpack, dirty, covered in mud. One shoulder strap was torn. Inside, there was a half-empty water bottle, a flashlight, and a wallet. The driver's license belonged to a man named Ethan Brooks. The license photo looked normal, late 20s, brown hair, friendly smile. But something didn't make sense. The expiration date was only 6 months old. Who would leave their wallet behind? I looked around. Ethan, silence. Then a snapping sound. Behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Just trees. Again. Another snap. This time, to my left. It sounded like someone was slowly circling me, keeping the same distance, never getting closer, never moving away. I grabbed the bear spray from my backpack. Who's there? No answer. Then I heard footsteps, not running, walking, slow, heavy, crunch, crunch, crunch. I could hear them clearly, but I couldn't see anyone. The footsteps stopped. So did my breathing. Then, from somewhere ahead, a voice whispered again, "Don't look behind you." Every horror movie I'd ever watched flashed through my mind. I wanted to run. Instead, I made the mistake of looking behind me. At first, I saw nothing. Then, about 50 yards away, between two trees, someone was standing there, completely still, too far away to see their face, too tall to be a child, wearing dark clothes. I blinked, gone. I told myself it had to be another hiker, but deep down, I knew no normal person stands perfectly still for that long. I raised my camera and zoomed in. The clearing was empty. Then I looked at the photo I'd just taken. My heart stopped. The person was still in the picture, standing between the trees, looking directly at me, even though there was no one there anymore. I dropped the camera, and for the first time that day, I realized I wasn't exploring the forest anymore. The forest was watching me. To be continued. I picked the camera up with shaking hands. The figure was still there. In the photo, standing between the trees, its face was too blurry to recognize. But one thing stood out. Its head was tilted at an unnatural angle. I took another picture of the same spot. Nothing. Just empty forest. I compared the two photos, taken less than 5 seconds apart. One showed the figure, the other didn't. I slipped the camera into my backpack. I didn't want to look at it again. The sun was already dropping behind the mountains. I needed to find a place to camp before dark. About half an hour later, I found a small clearing beside a narrow creek. It wasn't perfect, but it was open enough that I'd notice if anyone approached. At least, that's what I believed. I pitched my tent, started a small camp stove. A freeze-dried meal never tasted so good. For a few minutes, everything felt normal again. The breeze returned. Birds chirped in the distance. I even laughed at myself. Maybe I'd let an old internet story get into my head. Then, the birds stopped. All at once. Silence. Not gradual. Instant. I looked toward the tree line. Every shadow seemed darker now, as if the forest itself had moved a little closer. I checked the time. 7:43 p.m. Still enough daylight to see. Then I heard it. 3 knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Not on a tree, on wood, like someone knocking on a door. The sound came from deeper in the forest. A minute later, 3 more knocks. Exactly the same rhythm. I stayed still, listening. 5 minutes passed. Nothing. I convinced myself it had been a woodpecker until it happened again. This time, from a different direction. I grabbed my flashlight, swept the beam across the trees. Nothing, just trunks, branches, and darkness. I stepped closer to the edge of the clearing. That's when I noticed footprints in the soft mud. Fresh. They hadn't been there when I set up camp. They circled my tent once, not toward it, not away from it, just one perfect circle, as if someone had walked around me. Watching. My pulse raced. I backed toward the tent. Then my radio crackled. Static. I hadn't even turned it on. A burst of noise. Then a broken voice. Leave. Static again. Don't follow. Silence. I checked every button. The radio was switched off. I stared at it for several seconds. Then, from somewhere beyond the creek, a flashlight switched on. One single white light, perfectly still, watching my camp. I shouted, "Hey, do you need help?" The light disappeared. No footsteps, no reply, just darkness. I waited 1 minute, 2 minutes, then the same light appeared again, farther away, almost as if it wanted me to follow it. I took one step forward, then remembered the ranger's warning. If it gets dark, stay on the trail. I looked back at my camp, then back toward the light. It had vanished, and for the first time that night, I heard something moving, not in front of me, behind my tent. The sound behind my tent stopped, not faded, stopped. Like whoever was there knew I was listening. I held my flashlight with both hands. My heart was pounding so hard, I could hear it in my ears. Slowly, I walked toward the back of the tent, one step, then another. The flashlight beam swept across the ground. Nothing. No person, no animal. Then I noticed something. The footprints had changed. They no longer circled the tent. Now, they led away from it, straight into the trees, as if someone had stood outside my campsite, watching me, before quietly disappearing into the darkness. I wasn't about to follow. I zipped myself inside the tent and stayed awake. Hours passed. The forest remained unnaturally quiet. Then, just after midnight, a faint glow appeared through the fabric of my tent. Not white, not yellow, a pale blue light. It drifted slowly past, without making a sound. I held my breath. The light stopped. Right outside, a shadow crossed the tent wall, human-shaped, but strangely tall, with one arm hanging lower than the other. I reached for my bear spray. The shadow didn't move. Then, 3 soft taps. Tap, tap, tap. Not loud, almost polite. I said nothing. The tapping came again. This time, on the opposite side of the tent. Impossible. No one could have walked around the tent that fast without making a sound. The taps continued, changing sides, front, back, left, right, always 3, never more, never less. Then, silence. 5 long minutes passed. I finally worked up the courage to unzip the tent. The campsite was empty. The blue light was gone, but something had been left behind. On a flat rock, just a few feet away, sat an old metal compass. Its glass was cracked. Its needle spun wildly, never pointing north. I picked it up. The metal felt ice cold. Etched into the back were a few worn words. "Don't follow the light." I looked toward the forest. Far between the trees, the pale blue glow appeared again. This time, farther away, as if it was waiting. And then, I heard footsteps, not ahead of me, not behind me. All around me, slow, deliberate, circling the campsite. But no matter where I aimed my flashlight, there was no one there. I realized something terrifying. Whatever was out there didn't want to attack me. It wanted me to leave the trail, and the blue light was trying to lead me somewhere. I tightened my grip on the compass, took one careful step backward, then another, because deep down, I knew if I followed that light, I might never find my way back.